Yeah, I'll call to order the regular meeting of the Stokes County Board of Commissioners for June 26, 2023 at 2 p.m. And the first item on our agenda is the invocation. Sonia, would you mind doing
I'll
that?
do it. Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, as we come to you today, we'd like to thank you for allowing us to be here today. We'd like to thank you for this beautiful weather we're having. We pray that you would lead, guide, and direct us today in all that we say and do. We ask for your wisdom in the decisions that we make, and we ask for your travel mercies on the way home today. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Before we make a motion on that, from our previous budget meeting we just finished, I think we need to modify the agenda to add a budget amendment. Number 92 to the budget amendments that are already there in the consent agenda. So can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve, including budget amendment 92.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. The next item on our agenda is, I'll open the floor for public comments. I think we have two folks signed up to speak today. You have 4 minutes to speak. And the first one is Dan Wobler. Did I pronounce that correctly? Please come up to the mic here if you would. Yeah, just stand fairly close to it so we'll be sure and pick up all the audio.
Okay, sounds good. Is that good?
That's good.
Yeah, my name's Dan Wolber. I live here in Danbury, or outside of Danbury. I'm a 40-year resident of Stokes County. 30 of those years spent with Stokes County Schools. I've been retired for about a decade. Along with other property owners in my community, I encourage the board to update the 30-year-old Stokes County noise ordinance. This barely enforced ordinance addresses certain issues in channels for citation or civil action, but does not acknowledge current attitudes in regard to reasonably quiet enjoyment of home and property in respect to safety, freedom of annoyance, harassment, and protection of property rights and economic value. Recreational four-wheelers, hunting, and holiday festivity are all a part of rural life. But we are experiencing a new wave of nuisance, indifference, and outright contempt for neighborly consideration. Most importantly, the current noise ordinance does not even mention guns or firearms. And there is no state game wildlife ordinance that takes precedence here. There is an ambiguous sports shooting state ordinance that seems to be like a fallback, but there is no local regulation of a proper range. Sheriff Lemons has stated the outdated ordinance does not provide his patrol officers the tool needed to enforce reasonable firearm practice. The problem is systemic and the devil is in the detail. This isn't a misapplication of Second Amendment rights or anything like that. Violators do not know the ordinances and the laws. And county leadership, law enforcement, and the courts are only vaguely aware of the specifics or lack thereof. Meanwhile, most patrol officers try to de-escalate dangerous situations. Fortunately, the animal control ordinance is a working tool. We are talking about the reckless use of high-powered, window-shaking firearms at close range to neighboring residences, right-of-ways, and recreational spaces. There is no safe recreational purpose for shooting after dark, nor in areas where there is no regulated burn. And we are not talking about hunters who are generally, I can say that, quite considerate of their neighbors' safety and well-being. I can recall a day in time when students up at North Stokes High School would pull into the parking lots with rifles in the parking lot. I go back a ways. But what we're dealing with now is a new day in time. The county ordinance does state No loud disturbing noises which serve no lawful purpose, and the making of loud noise to harass or annoy another person. How many citations were issued in the past year? How many cases were pursued in civil court? A family wanting to have an outdoor cookout on a Saturday night should not have to first consider a restraining order. My property values and quality of life are as important as any resident of King or Walnut Cove, where they have ordinances. Look around, not just at neighboring counties, but any region where recreational tourism and forward-thinking property and development is a priority. In the long run, these priorities are as important as good jobs, health care, or schools. And I would think we want Stokes County to be a place where people like to visit, stay, or raise children, and not a place that they want to leave. I appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming. Our
I
next,
have copies of that.
yeah, that'd be great. Take 'em. Our next speaker is Melissa Bullins.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Lived here all my life, and I am here for Mr. Walber with the noise ordinance. I have 2 small children. We live on a private road, and we hear gunfire every day, and I've had about all I can stand of it to where I'm ready to move far away. Don't feel safe anymore. I don't feel like a lot of things are being done to keep us safe as far as the noise and the guns, the 4-wheelers. We don't know who these people are. We just look out and there goes somebody. This is a private road, you know, on our land. These things are happening. Someone's moved in. They're just shooting all the time. It's shaking the house, and the children are asking me what's going on. And I just don't feel safe to even let them ride the golf cart out the road anymore on our private road, or 4-wheeler. We're riding in the yard now, and that's about all I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much, Melissa. Okay, that concludes our public speakers for today. The next item on our agenda is comments from the manager and from the commissioners, and I'll start with Commissioner Mendenhall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to see everybody here today. Thank you for coming out. It's a beautiful day, and I'm glad that you are here. I'm sure you could have found many places you'd rather be than sitting in the governmental chambers, but thank you for coming out anyway. And for everybody that's watching on YouTube, I want to say thank you for being a part of this meeting, and I hope that you come back again and continue to be a part of this process. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Mendenhall. Commissioner Chandler.
I want to welcome everybody to today's Board of Commissioner meeting. Quick comment on the noise ordinance. We are working on that. We've looked at some different ordinances to try to clarify some of the issues that you all talked about. So we'll get there, and we'll do our best to do the right thing and make it to where it's your property rights are valued as well as others. That's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Wood.
Thank everybody for coming. I appreciate y'all coming out. I wish more people would, and that's all. I'm going to keep it brief.
Yeah, thank you to everybody for being here, and for those who commented. It definitely is time for us to look at this noise ordinance and update it and try to put some teeth in it so we have something that's enforceable. So we are looking at that. We've got retirement David from IT today that we're going to recognize in a minute, and thank you for your years of service for sure, and we're going to miss him for sure, and excited that Paula Hall's here to talk to us about the grant to expand the senior service activities across the county. That's really exciting, so can't wait to hear about that. That's all I've got.
Hey, Amber.
Welcome everybody here. Thank you for being here and for participating, and for those watching online. I just want to remind everybody that the county offices will be closed next Tuesday for July 4th. So hope everybody has a good 4th of July and Independence Day.
Thank you, Amber. I would also like to welcome everybody. Thank you for your participation in our meeting today. Thanks to the two guest speakers, or public speakers, I should say, that came up today. We're in the fact-finding and gathering mode for trying to figure out this ordinance, and as Commissioner Chandler said, we're going to work on that and try to come up with a good, fair, balanced ordinance that protects everybody's rights. Okay, the next item on our agenda is conflicts of interest, and I'll read the statement real quick. Before moving further, does any board member have a conflict of interest with any of the items on the agenda for today, or one that could be perceived as a conflict? No. Okay, thank you. The next item on our agenda is the consent agenda, which includes the additional budget amendment that I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting. I'd just like to make one comment that these minutes that we're approving also include the closed session minutes. Amber told you guys about that so you could review them. I would like to say I really was kind of impressed with the detail that was in the closed session minutes. I think that's kind of where it needs to be as far as detail, and I thought they were very well done. So with that, could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion, or anyone want to move any item from the consent agenda to discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Also, I asked Lisa to work on the budget documentation that she's trying to get ready for us today instead of being here. So we just talked about that a while ago. Next item is the information agenda, and the first item on that is recognition of our IT systems analyst from Diana Falk, Mr. David's retirement. So you have the floor, Diana.
Okay, David, I guess if you want to come up too. I would just like to take this opportunity to say a few words here for David, and I guess if any of y'all want to say anything, that would be great. You finally made it, David. We talked about this scenario many times, but anyway, we'll save those details for later. I would like to take this opportunity to say that it has truly been a pleasure working with you over the past 30 years, and actually to say congratulations. Although there have been more trying days than there have been good days, I want to say thank you for the dedication you've shown to the IT department during your 30 years. There are actually no words to describe your dedication. I wish you the best of luck and health as you enter this next phase, and maybe now you'll be able to bale your hay, thousands of them, without being interrupted with an IT issue. Again, David, I would like to say thank you and enjoy your retirement. I do want to add one thing. I think during the budget work sessions, I think Woods was talking about this, and if I'm wrong, correct me, but I think you'd ask somebody why they worked here, or whether it was money, or whether it was that, or whatever. I can truly say, and David has said this many, many times, that he truly actually enjoys working for Stokes County. Obviously, it's not for the money, but it's actually for the fact that he's working in the county that he lives in and trying to make a difference. So.
All right, thank you, Diana.
Okay, do y'all want to say it, or?
We're going to comment.
Okay, yeah. Let me give him his
We're going to
little.
do a plaque too, right?
Yeah.
After we comment? Okay. We'll do that after we comment, okay.
Okay, well, okay.
Commissioner Mendenhall?
Sure. I just want to say congratulations and thank you for all the work you've given to this county. And especially back 2 or 3 years ago when we were going through the COVID situation and we weren't getting to have a lot of meetings in person, especially I know two committees that I serve on, they went straight virtual. Sometimes I would have trouble with my computer getting it to, in a Zoom meeting to work right. I called David many times for assistance in those meetings, and he always was willing to help out. And I just want to say thank you for that, and thank you for everything you've done for our county. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
David, I just want to let you know, first of all, congratulations. And I know you like to ride a tractor like I do, so probably next time I see you in a couple months, I'm going to recognize you. You probably look 30 years younger. Have that stress off your plate. I know that when Keith and we were sworn in on December 4th, and then that next month, we went through meetings with all the different department heads and hear their concerns and their accomplishments. And I honestly got to say that you really, really, really deserve just really a big monetary retirement gift, but one that we can't do here. But you put your heart and your soul into making sure that the employees and staff were able to use the computer network, and to include on your off days at night. The one common theme that I heard in and out was that you were there to help sincerely. And so coming from public safety myself, I know how important it is to make sure that we have the right equipment out there and the right technology, and you were at the forefront of that. And it's not for the money, not here in Stokes County. I know that, but I sincerely say thank you.
Mr. Wood?
Dave, I appreciate your service. Congratulations. I've only known you a short time. If you wake up next week and totally bored, what have I done? We'll take you back.
Yeah. David, thank you so much for your time you've given this county, and it means a lot that you did choose to serve here in your county, where we know you could have made a lot more money other places in IT than you have here. So that says a lot that you been here for 30 years and in the county that you live in, and every department head that we've talked to and employees have told us how helpful you've been to them, and how just with prior to a few months ago, it was just you and Diana, and y'all have done such a tremendous job of trying to keep everything up and going with just two people, and we recognized that and you knew y'all needed some help, so we've tried to get y'all some help and stuff. But I know you're gonna have a lot more fun on your tractor and on your farm and doing that, and I can't blame you for wanting to do that. So, but like Commissioner Wood said, if you want to come back, just holler. Thank you again for your service.
Okay, and David, I've been working with you since 2004, and I really do appreciate all the support you've given me as a county manager and an elected official, and all of the major contribution you've made to keeping this county running every day. You're one of the best people I've ever met, both personally and professionally, and that spans a lot of people and a lot of different career fields and everything, but you're absolutely at the top of the list, and I congratulate you on your retirement. You're a farmer. You have to be really smart and hardworking to do that too, and but I'm really happy that you've kind of graduated to that point where you can go out and do the farming stuff, and we just keep in touch with us. We want to know what you're up to and what you're doing. So thanks again. Now somebody give him a plaque.
I guess I need to read this.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
It says, presented to David Jones in appreciation and recognition for the 30 plus years of service, of dedicated service and commitment to Stokes County. July of 2023. There you go.
Say something you can, or
Yeah, thanks y'all, and like I say, Stokes County is just, I was born here. Thank you.
Yeah, you're the best. Yeah, that'd be really good.
How we doing?
And him right here, and us.
Come here in the middle. We'll gather around. I didn't put any horns on you while you were doing it. Thanks a lot, David. We really do appreciate you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is on our information agenda is E1 911 site assessment report update. I think Matt's here to do that.
Good afternoon. First, congratulations to David. Kind of jealous. After talking with Amber the other day, we thought it'd be a good idea to come and kind of share an overview of what we went through a couple weeks ago and the results of that assessment. So back on June 7th, our 911 Center went through a PSAP assessment by the North Carolina 911 Board and Mission Critical Partners, which is a contracted company by the state, to assist the state in performing the PSAP site assessment for 126 PSAPs in the state. A little bit of history about how we got to this point was back on July 1st, 2016, the state passed legislation that required all primary and secondary PSAPs to be assessed, meeting the requirements by North Carolina administrative codes. We are notified by the 911 Board 90 days prior to our PSAP assessments date and time. We are graded on 92 different areas. It's a pretty long, lengthy process. They give you 90 days to prepare because it takes 89 and a half to get ready. They come and they assess things such as call handling equipment, staffing, CAD, radio and telephone functionality, the recording system, our primary and backup power information, our backup plans, our emergency management plans, alt routing or abandonment routing procedures. They assess our maintenance and hardware maintenance and software maintenance, comm center and its operational security, generator and UPS operations. They look at our training records, certifications, quality management program, call volume. So all in all, it equals up to about 92 different topics, and it's takes about 3 to 4 hours to go through this once they get here on site. The process for them, just to give you kind of some background on it, is if you are found to have deficiencies, the state will send you your report where it will identify those deficiencies. You have to submit a letter to the 911 Board saying that you've acknowledged those, and you have to come up with a corrective action plan. Once those letters received, you will be reassessed again in 12 months. If you fail to comply to any of this stuff, the state can withhold funding for 911 funds. However, as I think you all have a copy of the agenda, I'm very pleased to announce that we passed with 100% compliance and no deficiencies. As of our June 7th assessment, Stokes County was the only PSAP that has been assessed to this point with no deficiencies and passed with 100% compliance. I was talking to my staff about it, and a lot of them obviously don't understand this side of it, but it was a very, very big deal, very big accomplishment. Stokes County had never been assessed by the state before. This is the first time it happened. They were scheduled to be done back in 2019. I think the previous staff made contact with the board and said they weren't prepared, and then COVID happened, and it's been pretty much set still for 3 years, and now they've kind of started back doing it. So Like I said, after I talked to Amber, she said, well, I think it was a good idea to kind of give you guys an update on where we were and how well we did, and we should be very proud of all the things we accomplished there. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You should.
definitely.
Ed, start on comments, questions.
Yeah, that's a very, very, very big accomplishment, and thank you, and to you and your staff, and especially for your leadership in being able to complete that project the way you did. You should be very, very proud of, like I say, of yourself and the staff, and please give them my sincere. That means a lot. And I think too, it gives that level of confidence to the board and to our citizens that you're well prepared to handle your day-to-day call volume, but of course even some unusual, such as an emergency that typically you may not deal with every day, but you're ready for it. So thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Mendenhall.
Yes, I just want to echo what Commissioner Chandler said. Looking at this and 92 items,
Mhm.
and they found no deficiencies in one item. That's tough to do.
It is very tough.
90, if it was only 2 or 3 items and they didn't find anything, that's one thing.
Right.
When you have 92 items they're reviewing and they could not find any deficiencies, that's exceptional. And I think not only you, but your entire department deserves a lot of credit.
Absolutely.
I just want to say congratulations to you and your department, and please pass that along to everybody that works with you. And you did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to have an assessment like this and have no deficiencies. That's huge. Y'all do a great job over there. And after when I toured y'all's facility over there, and it's just amazing what all y'all do and how y'all handle the volume of calls and everything that comes in. So make sure you tell everybody over there we said congratulations.
Thank you.
And they're doing a
Okay.
great job. We appreciate, the whole county appreciates the job they do. It touches everybody.
Mr. Wood.
Well done, but I already knew that because 2 weeks ago I had to use 911, and they walked me through step by step with my mother, and they were just first class. Thank you.
Well,
Congratulations, Matt.
Appreciate
I
it.
think you got a perfect score, right? That's
Yeah.
the way I interpreted that.
yeah.
That's a pretty high standard for your next inspection.
Yeah, right. We got 3 years to prepare for that one, I think.
So I've always found that the function that you guys do down there, when I was county manager, I used to go down there sometimes at night and just kind of watch what was going on. But the such a critical function for all the emergency services to work properly, and it's just great to hear that you got a score like that. I'm not surprised, to be honest with you, but I'm pleasantly surprised. And please tell everybody we really appreciate what they're doing.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Appreciate it.
The next item on our agenda is the Senior Center Extended Services Grant, and Paula Hall is here to talk about that.
Commissioners, good afternoon. I am Paula Hall. I'm the director of the King Senior Center. I'm here along with Reva Dotson from Walnut Cove Senior Center to bring you greetings and to share some information about an exciting new grant that we're getting ready to launch. We wanted to come share some information about a recent grant that the King Senior Center and Stokes Senior Services were able to secure that will benefit senior adults age 60 and up across Stokes County. With this ARPA grant, it's a Senior Center Community Expanded Services Grant. Our 2 senior centers in the county are partnering to offer exercise classes, programs, and other activities at 6 underserved or unserved areas of the county that we had already identified as Lawsonville, Sandy Ridge, Francisco, Danbury, Pine Hall, and Oak Grove Baptist Church, which is representative of the eastern side of the county. King and Walnut Cove Centers launched one exercise class per week at 3 of the sites within the last year, at Lawsonville, Pine Hall, and Oak Grove. They're very successful, and we're already getting a lot of requests for more activities. As state certified centers of excellence, we understand how these grants can impact Stokes County. We know that older adults can improve their overall health and wellness, decrease loneliness and isolation, and learn new things when they have opportunities to participate in senior center activities. Most importantly, seniors who regularly engage increase their potential to not only live longer, but live longer more independently. Our goal through this grant is that all senior adults in our county have better access to those vital programs that we know can be life-changing, not only for them, but for the communities they live in. We know that we can have a big impact. Tonight, we began a week of community meetings to hear feedback and receive input from seniors to learn more about what types of classes and activities that they want most. We've been working over the last month, meeting with several local Roriton groups and other community leaders to secure sites and help us reach older adults where they are. We will be compiling this input, recruiting class instructors, purchasing supplies, and creating schedules to launch activities in the next month. We are hoping to provide 2 exercise classes per week at each site and 1 additional activity per month. These may include classes like Sit and Fit, a strength and balance class, or yoga. Other activities could include creative arts, cornhole, or even cooking classes. One of the most requested classes that our centers have continued since the pandemic have been our technology classes that teach older adults how to use their Android or iPhones or tablets. It helps them better communicate with the world around them. We are wanting to work with each community in the planning process to best meet their needs. This grant period runs from May of 2023 through September of 2024, and we are hoping that our success, Stokes County's success, will demonstrate the need for additional state money so that our efforts can continue after the grant concludes. We appreciate your interest. We appreciate your continued support. We're excited about launching this because we know that Stokes County has so many active aging adults and the numbers are growing. And we'd be happy to answer questions and
Can I brag on you?
Yeah, you can be first.
Gosh, I guess it was May a year ago. I first come to the caregivers. I've been impressed with both of you. We are lucky to have y'all. I stepped in one of your classes you had in Lawsonville. I think is that the Sit and Fit? There were 30 people there. 30 people, and they love it. I mean, it was not just women, it was men. We're lucky to have y'all. That's all I got.
All right, Mr. Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I hear nothing but good stuff about Senior Center at Walnut Cove and at definitely in King. And I know King draws from even Rural Hall, Tobaccoville, all over the place, because I know people who come in the beauty shop that go there, that talk about all the classes and things and the activities. And honestly, there's nothing in Rural Hall, Tobaccoville, or anywhere, Pilot Mountain, anywhere really that matches what we've got going on there. And it draws from a lot of places. And to see it being expanded into the underserved and unserved areas of our county is huge. Because the mountain range is a barrier. Transportation is a barrier for a lot of senior adults especially. So for us to be able to have programming go out to them is huge. So congratulations on the grant and what y'all do. And you're making a difference. And I'm about to be 2 years from being in that category myself. So
Hey, I'm already there.
yeah, I mean, it starts to look a lot different when you're that close, for sure. here. So I just appreciate everything y'all do. It's making a huge difference in the lives of a lot of people. That's all.
Okay, Mr. Chandler.
Yeah, thank you, and I can tell, and I appreciate both of you have a strong passion for what you do. And I think when you have passion like that, and it helps in your job, because really it's not just a job, it's actually like you're on a mission. And I can see it's authentic, and I really like that you're coming to Northwest Stokes County and bringing that enthusiasm and passion with you. And anything that that I could do to help support y'all, let me know. Thank you.
Mr. Mendenhall.
Thank you for all you do, getting this grant, and being able to expand countywide is great. I hear a lot of great things about y'all, what y'all do, not just from Commissioner Wood or Commissioner Cox or Chandler, Commissioner Morris, everybody that I talk to, it's always positive, and that's great. When you go all the way across the county, from one end to the other, and everywhere you go, this is discussed. And I just want to say thanks for all you do, and we appreciate all the hard work you do. Thank you.
And I'll close by saying that this is really important. I know a lot of people support this. It'll be an easy one. And I was curious how long it lasts. Well, is it a year-to-year thing, or do you have to reapply to keep funded?
Right now, it's going to end in September of 2024. My concern when the grant was awarded was what happens when we're successful and the grant ends. Had some conversations with some folks at the state level and a regional level, and what they're hoping comes out of this is some additional state monies into 2024, 2025 that could help sustain the programs.
Where you would have to apply for another grant?
I'm assuming so.
Do you have to have a match to do that?
This grant requires no match for this ARPA monies. Now, what that grant might be in the future is yet to be determined, but for this grant, there was no match.
Oh, okay.
That's hard money to turn down.
Good. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing it, and keep us posted on how it's going. And
We will certainly give you updates
and
on our
challenges you
progress.
have. As we get closer to 2024, we need to
We sure will.
be poised to do something if we need to.
We invite you to come visit.
I brought a few newsletters for the July month and the calendars for everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Hey, now we'll move to our discussion agenda, and the first item on there is the tax office agenda, and Richard Bram will present.
Good afternoon. As always, the first item is our monthly tax collection status report. Pleased to let the board know that with a month left still to collect, we're over budget. We're 100.27%, so we're about $785,000 ahead of where we were last year at this time, so that's good news. Next item is the real and personal releases, more than 100. We have two accounts that total $1,410.26. Then the last item there is real and personal refunds, more than 100, 5 accounts that total $1,011.70. And then the final item I have is one present use value late application. And I'd like to move the releases and refunds more than 100 and the late use value application to the July 10th consent agenda. That's all I have.
Questions, Commissioner Mendenhall?
No, as usual, it's very detailed, and I just say, Richard, please thank your department for the hard work you put in.
Yes, sir.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chandler?
Good report. And look forward to a few other good reports.
Yeah, hope so. Please. We hope so.
That's all I got. Good job, Richard.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. We appreciate it. Good report. Tell everybody thank you for their hard work down there.
Just a quick question. Did you recently publish the thing about delinquent taxes in the newspaper?
That'll be yeah, we did. I'm sorry. I was on vacation last week and it went in the 23rd.
Oh, okay.
23rd,
okay.
yes, it was in there.
I was at a family reunion yesterday, and one of my kin folks asked me,
Yeah, we did.
Borrow money?
they said, she asked me, what are we doing to make these people pay their taxes that are in the newspaper?
Yeah,
Could you
actually,
address that just briefly?
yeah, actually on that statute says that we have to put that in the paper. They make us do that.
Put it in the
Put it in the
paper.
paper. And we used to do that in March. And a few years back, I decided to move that until late June because it was cheaper. But all that money is recovered. We have to pay the paper to put it in there. But we add an advertisement fee onto their delinquent taxes. So eventually we'll get that money back, whether they pay it back or we have to take the property through foreclosure.
Okay.
And things that we're doing is we send out a demand letter, and then if that doesn't work, we will try to attach and do wage garnishment. And if that doesn't work, we'll give it to Ty and his staff, and they will send them a demand letter for foreclosure. And a lot of times that gets their attention, but if it doesn't, then their office will continue with foreclosure. And we've done several of those, and it's last resort, but sometimes we have to do that.
So that's kind of the three-step process that you use to deal with the folks that are in the paper.
Correct.
Okay. Good. That answers my questions perfectly. All right. I don't have any others. Anybody have anything else? Okay. Thanks. Good report as usual. Okay. Next item on our agenda is proposed veterinarian contract for FY 23-24. I think Lori Shore Smith's presenting on that.
Good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
So for the past several months, Dr. Preston Roberts of Animal Care Clinic, with whom we've had our vet contract for the last several years, has been dealing with some health issues. So we've been very limited on, what animals we can take there, and if they can keep them overnight or not, depending on the circumstances. So we have been using Animal Health and Wellness Hospital, which is also located in Rural Hall, as a backup plan. And then we recently received a letter from Dr. Roberts at Animal Care Clinic stating that due to his health reasons that he was going to have to cancel the county vet contract. He pretty much stated that just the stress of having to oversee the shelter and on top of his business was just a little much with his health issues. So I have met several times with the owner of Animal Health and Wellness Hospital, Dr. Lorna McLeod, and we have reviewed the current county contract several times and have made some tweaks to that along with Ty Browder's office. I've met with Jennifer Michaud and spoken with her several times just to kind of tweak it, one, to protect our liability, and two, to change it over to Animal Health and Wellness. So I'm happy to say that Dr. McLeod has agreed to become our county vet for the next year. And not only that, she has been very gracious. I've known her and one of the other vets there for several years, and they have given us actually better rates than what we're currently paying. Our current vet had to go up on the rates back in the fall, so it did affect us, and we saw our vet bills greatly increase due to that. I'll just give you a few examples. As far as feline spays, the cat spays, we're currently being charged $108 per female cat, and our new county vet will charge us $75. The neuters, it's about the same, 68 versus 65, but when you get to the canines, you're looking at a significant savings. Dogs, female dogs that are 0 to 20 pounds, we're currently being charged $132 a piece. We're going to be charged $85. For 21 to 40 pounds, we're currently being charged $132. We're going to be charged $95. And then 41 to 80 pounds, we're currently being charged $148, and we'll be charged $110 to $120. So we're also going to be saving a lot of money on other services, medications, and goods because the new vet will be giving us a 20% discount on everything else. on top of the rescue price list that she's given us. So I'm very grateful to her. She also has animal welfare at her heart, and she has decided to waive the $250 fee per month, which will save us about $3,000, which is needed to be put into some of the animals' medical care that we've been taking to them. So that will save us money too, the $3,000 a year that she's just automatically waiving to serve us, to be on our contract.
Right. Commissioner Mendenhall, you have any questions on it?
No, I looked over it and I did see the reductions in many of the fees that were being charged. Looks good to me, and thank you for your work on that.
Mr. Chandler?
Yeah, more good news. We're on a roll today other than our budget meeting earlier. Let's keep up the good work. Thanks.
Commissioner Wood?
No, great job. Thanks.
Thanks. Good to know. Good information. Save us some money.
Is there a chance she'll do more than 1 year? Most
Oh,
likely?
yes, there is a chance. We're going to see how the first year goes, of course.
Okay.
She did come over to the shelter. She did a walkthrough. She looked at all of our euthanasia drugs. Of course, this past fall, we ordered a double locked cabinet, which we did not have before. We were kind of having to lock underneath a sink and then lock it inside of a lockbox. So we did get the proper cabinet to lock our drugs in, and she came over. She went through all of our euthanasia records and the drugs and looked at how we're keeping everything and was very satisfied with that.
Okay, great. Does this need to be on action today or next
I
week?
believe so, right?
I would ask that it go under action today, just because the current county vet contract runs out July the 3rd.
Okay.
And so I would like to go ahead and contract with her as of July 1st. Through the end of June of next year, so we can go ahead and have her sign that and all before July the 1st gets here.
Everybody good with action today? on
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Right.
good.
Thank you very much.
With Jennifer, you good with it? Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And the next item is the planning and zoning fee schedule amendment. I think Eric's going to talk about that.
Yeah, so basically what I have is an update to the fees that we had brought before you earlier. We quickly realized when we were going to input the numbers in the software that we currently have that it wanted to round everything up, and it just wasn't working out quite right. So we made an adjustment on those numbers, which you'll see is indicated in red. And should at this point go into the program okay. And then of course we had the change of the technology fee that we had initially stated was $250. We're going to take that to $5. We felt like that would be a more adequate amount there. And that's basically what I have is like I said, the changes in red and then the technology fee, and that was it.
All right, questions from commissioners?
When do these go in effect?
We're trying to get them in effect July the 1st, so we're kind of hunkering down trying to get that done.
That's all I know.
Okay, Randy, you got anything? Good. Anything? One quick question, let me just read one thing right quick first. You can answer this later, maybe.
Okay.
On the commercial solar panels, are we charging enough for those, I guess is my question, compared to other places? You just go take a look at that and let me know later.
Certainly.
I want to make sure that we are charging them
Absolutely.
plenty to put those things in and at least equal to what everybody else is doing. I think we may have adjusted it already to do that, but you check that history on that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, certainly. Be happy to.
All right.
this need to be moved to action?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for
Okay.
it to be, go into effect July 1st, it would be, wouldn't it? So, everybody good with that? Okay. Hey, thanks, Eric.
All right. Thank you.
Next one is additional request to amend River Street contract. Amber, why don't you start on that if you want to, or you want me to, or?
Either one. I mean, I can start.
Okay.
So, a couple meetings ago, we amended the River Street contract to reflect the changes with the Great Grant and the match that the county was able to legally make now that the Great Grant was awarded. We had talked to River Street about that, and we didn't hear any feedback. But after the fact, we just recently have heard some feedback, and they had some changes they wanted proposed. But we just received these Friday, so we weren't able to talk about it and update those. We just wanted to put the River Street's recommendations, and that's the file that's attached to the agenda on here just for discussion today, because we know the state's looking forward to getting that, so we can move forward with the three-party contract.
Okay. The one thing, I saw Greg Coltrane in the parking lot Friday when I was over here, and he mentioned this to me, and then I think part of their intention may have been to try to protect some money to keep it from being pulled back under this COVID pullback that the federal government's looking at. But that's really no longer applicable here because we've taken the restriction off. We found out we were allowed to, and put it in the general fund. So you can't really do that. I mean, it's already, the federal government can't pull it back out of our general fund. So I'm a little bit confused at what the purpose or what the need for this is now. So I would just say, go maybe talk to them some more.
Ty, did you speak with somebody earlier about some changes?
Yes, I had called Dan Higgins and left a message for him to call me. He called me just as I was walking in. I was talking with him on the telephone about the proposed changes, and I'll just go over what they want to change. If you'll look at the proposed changes that's on the agenda.
Okay.
On the first page, at the end of the next to last paragraph, there's a change in the number from the $1,263,315, which is the maximum amount that's allowed. The county's allowed to contribute under the Great Grant Program. Change that to $2,400,000, which is the amount that the county had originally agreed to allocate. The way this is worded, I was concerned that it might be a problem with the state because it says it refers to an amendment necessary to reflect a reduction in the amount of funding provided pursuant to the agreement and the Great Grant Program. But Dan said he's fine with it. He said it won't be a problem. So that's fine with me. They originally had the $2,400,000 in there, and I was concerned about the way it was worded, that the state could point to that and say, you still haven't reduced it to the maximum. But there's other language in here that makes that clear. So I'm fine with that change.
Okay.
And on the second page, number 2, amendments. I had changed the wording to state that section 1.1.5 is hereby deleted in its entirety for purposes of not confusing numbering and references back to numbers. He didn't want to have to renumber everything, so he wanted to leave it in there and just state that section 1.1.5 is intentionally left blank, which is that's fine with me.
Okay.
It doesn't change the meaning of anything. And in subparagraph C, the language that I had originally used was that the remaining funds in the amount of $1,136,685 from the ARPA infrastructure funds remaining from the county's original $2.4 million commitment will be dispersed in accordance with the terms of any future agreement between the county and RSN for additional expansion of the RSN networks. And this may have been the wording that Greg was referring to, that he was concerned about. That is changed to read, should River Street be awarded grant funding through a future state or federal grant program, the county agrees to use the remaining ARPA funds of $1,136,685 remaining from the county's original $2.4 million commitment in the agreement to match partner funding as prescribed by such grant, and would pay such amount as required by such grant award based on a payment schedule established between River Street and county at that time. So, it's the same meaning, it's just a little different language. I don't have a problem with that change, if the board does.
I have a question about it though, because when we took the restrictions off the ARPA and made it general fund money, it's kind of sitting in a different category now, so I'm not sure how we can agree to restrict a certain amount like that and hold it, given, yeah, come on up, Glenn, if you want to, given that we could have some giant emergency happen and we're allowed to spend it on, before we weren't allowed to spend it on anything else, but now we are. So I think I think all the board is already stated that they're going to match whatever grants River Street can get, if it requires a match from us to finish out this internet. But this kind of pins us down in a way that I'm not sure is
it does
reasonable, really.
Under the original agreement, the commitment was 2.4.
Mm-hmm.
That was originally going to be paid out under the grant program.
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't that amended?
Well,
wasn't that amended down to the 1.2?
That's what this is.
Okay,
that's this amendment.
Right.
Yep.
So if it's amended down to 1.2, then why do we still have to commit to the 1.1 in the future? That's my biggest question here. If we amended the 2.4 down, then why do we have to commit to the additional monies?
Because that's what River Street wants. You're asking me, why do we have to do it?
Well, I think originally
You don't have to agree to it, but the original commitment was the 2.4.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were going to pay.
Yes.
The Great Grant Program.
Agreed. But then again, we amended that down.
Right.
So my biggest problem is if it's mine and I amend it down, if I'm going to pay 2.4 for a house and it's now 1.2, I'm not going to commit to those additional funds.
Okay. Well,
you know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure this is clear.
I understand that.
Yeah, and make sure the state will agree with it too, because it's kind of reads a little bit like we're going back to the 2.4 when the state told us to go to 1.3
That's
or
exactly
whatever
right.
it is.
I think the state would reject this.
I think the wording just needs to assure River Street. What's that next grant that's coming? The BEAD. I think they know that I think we've already told them we will match whatever BEAD requires, and they just need to know that we're going to continue to partner with them and match our part without it being so specific here. This like ties up this money where we can't use it for anything else.
But I don't know that there's going to be any more great grant funding that's going to come out necessarily in the future. I mean, probably in 2025 or 2026, I would imagine. But they're wanting us to keep that money in the bank for that long. But like I said, I'm going back to the fact that we amended this down to 1.2. Mm-hmm. And that's my biggest thing.
We also converted that restricted money to general fund money,
right,
which just puts it in a totally different category. Right. We have to do that to get through our budget crisis here. So I think
that was my only point. I just don't.
I understand what you're saying, but that River Street is wanting to stick to the original agreement with the 2.4 commitment.
But didn't they came back and said they only needed 1.7 after our original agreement of 2.4. They came back and said they only needed 1.7. Right. So I mean, we got back to 2.4 somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we can exactly do this. I mean, just
I don't think so either.
Because we may want to do more than 2.4 depending on what the grant is. I mean, a total of 2.4.
Just have to see what other kind of grants.
Yeah.
I
I mean, we'll see what the future is, but I just don't, I don't think
we just need to
I don't think it's
assure 'em.
wise to commit that money at this point in time.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not sure you can halfway legally do it when it's in the general fund.
And I can see that right off of you know, you deleted in its entirety, and the first two words in that was due to River Street having been awarded, and now we're saying should River Street be awarded grant funding. You know, you got due to, then you got should, which, excuse me for just a minute.
That's right.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yeah, while you're gone, I'll just make one other quick comment.
You're good.
What was my comment? It'll come to me in a second here. Whenever I think, I know it was when we said whenever we decided, Amber decided that the unrestricted, the ARPA funds did not have to be restricted by law. We thought they did, and then she determined that they didn't. Then we told River Street. I even made a comment. I said, even though we're going to unrestrict these funds, we want to assure River Street that we're going to still match the grants whenever they're able to get them to finish our internet.
Yeah.
So that's really
That clear.
yeah. And everybody agreed, yeah, we would do that.
In your original wording, you said we'll basically discuss that when they bring us. We'll do a new agreement when they come with another grant request for a match. That was your original wording.
Yeah, the original wording, the remaining funds from the ARPA infrastructure funds, remaining from the county's original 2.4 commitment, will be dispersed in accordance with the terms of any future agreement between the county and RSN for additional expansion of the RSN network.
Yeah.
That
I like your wording.
that still restricts them to being used for that.
I think it clearly separates the boundaries too between the great grant agreement, which we're only allowed to match that 1.3, and any future agreements, which we give them the match. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you want to take this commitment totally out of here, then that there doesn't need to be any language.
I don't know. We don't know what the commitment's going to be in the future. It may be we only need to put 500,000 in. You know, I mean, just saying. So I would take, personal opinion, I'd take that out, just simply because I don't think that we would want to commit to that. But that's my opinion. I am not a lawyer.
Glenn and I can just work with Todd.
Yes.
We can contact River Street
I
and
think
work it
that's
out if we need to. I mean,
Well, I think we're going to need to have a conference call.
yeah, I think that's
I agree.
That's best.
You
I
and
think.
Amber and me with Greg.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, let's do that and just try to find out what they're trying to accomplish with this, and assure them that we're going to match future grant requests, no matter which ones they go after.
Well,
So we get this internet done.
I can tell you what they want to accomplish. Like I said, they want to make sure that they, at some point in the future, they're going to get the balance of the 2.4.
Yeah.
If they get grants.
Yeah.
But if they don't win grants, then they wouldn't ever get it. So. But if they do win grants, they'll get that and maybe more. So. Because we're committed to internet for everybody.
He's got to have it.
Well,
We have to discuss it. And I'm sorry, I
Okay.
don't
Yeah,
like making these kind of commitments without.
We'll just set up something.
Yeah, we'll set something up. Thank
Okay.
you.
we'll schedule coffee.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Todd.
That's good. Do we need to take a recess for a minute and tell you about for?
We could, since we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, let's take a 5-minute recess and then we'll get back to it. Okay, I'll call our meeting back to order from recess, and we'll continue with the discussion agenda. The next item is a voluntary agricultural district board appointments, and Amber's going to speak on this one.
So we received 2 appointment applications for the Voluntary Agriculture District Advisory Board. I got these from Janice Pack, the Soil and Water Conservation Director. One's for Randall Patterson, one's for David Ferguson. The VAD Board has already approved these appointment recommendations at their last meeting on June 15th. And these applicants will be filling the expiring terms of Carlton Jones and Wesley Bowen, and the terms are for 3 years.
Do we need to open the floor and nominate them today, or?
Yeah, we'll just open the floor for nominations today.
Yeah, open the floor for nominations for these 2 individuals.
And do we nominate them?
Mm-hmm.
I'll nominate Patterson and Ferguson and close the floor for any additional nominations.
Second.
Second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, so those will come to the, you don't advertise this too, or?
Yeah, we can just do it on the next one. I checked with Janice and she said that was fine.
All right.
Okay.
Just move it to action.
Sounds good. And then the last item on our discussion agenda is the caboose removal at Walnut Cove Lions Park. And I think Glenda might come up and talk about that.
I'm going to, let me interrupt.
You can start, and then Glenda.
What I thought was going to be something easy.
Yeah.
Local government.
Yeah, local government. This caboose is an eyesore. It's a hazard down there, and this guy's willing to move it, and he wants to restore it for and donate it to a transportation museum. Now it's your turn.
And I'm sorry, I will bust his bubble.
And this thing's going to require this guy spending money on a crane, a wide load permit, and a tractor trailer. And then...
But he is a public citizen at this point. He is, we could donate it to a nonprofit, which would be like a museum, or some of them are, some of them aren't. But we cannot just donate it to a private citizen. So I confirmed with Ty that I was correct on that, and that is correct. Now, there is some options that we can do. I reached out to Ms. Petrie because I wasn't quite sure all the details, and so she's getting me the gentleman's contact information because I want to confirm that he doesn't have any kind of association with the nonprofit that it can go through, that kind of thing. So, that's still an option after I speak with him, but I wasn't able to get him before we came over. So, but, there is some options that we can do. We can do an upset bid. He can make an offer. Doesn't really say what that offer has to be. He can make an offer. I will bring it to you all. We will run it in the newspaper, kind of like we did the house on Dodgetown Road. The gentleman made an offer. We accepted the offer and then posted it for other offers.
How long would that take?
You have to run it for 10 days.
Bill, do you know what kind of time frame he's...
This man wants to get started ASAP.
So
he has the funds to do it. He has
to restore it. Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Before, and he has the funds to do it, and he's going to take it to his place because he cannot take it to the transportation museum because they don't have the space for him to go down there and restore it there. So he's going to take it to his place and restore it, and eventually get donated to the transportation.
How's he going to explain his wife there's a caboose in the garage?
She's all in favor of this.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, she's all in favor of this too.
I would love to do it.
And if it's the easiest way out of this, it will relieve the county of liability. It will relieve the Lions Club of liability. And I mean major liability. If one kid falls off that thing,
they got it roped off now, and that ain't good. Yeah, it's a hazard.
Okay, so what's the quickest way to deal with this then? Do you have any recommendations?
What were the other options, Glenda? You said that was the first one. What were the other ones?
Well, you can put it on Gov Deals, but that's going to take longer. You can do a private sale, which is going to take, everything takes time. And that's the thing. It's not something we can just do today. Because you have to, regardless, even if you donate it, if we find out that the nonprofit will let it go through them and go to his property, I think there's some details that we might could talk to him to be able to figure out. But you still have to, even if you donate it to a nonprofit, it has to be posted for 5 days. Then it would have to be brought back to your July 10th meeting for a resolution to be drawn up. So it's not something that just can happen today.
This is like winning the lottery. There is no way this caboose was going to go anywhere. So if we can make this happen some way, somehow, this is huge for the park.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with making it happen, but we have to do one of these items. Unless Ty knows of a different way that we can, but I don't know of any way that is not against the general statute and against the law.
Could the county, Ty, write up something that, i.e. giving it to the Lions Club, a nonprofit, and then the Lions Club, we could give it to him?
Well, I mean, you can give it to a nonprofit, but you still got to go through the process.
So if we
statutory steps.
You know, essentially, the way we look at it, and we understand that once it's put on county property, it becomes county property. We understand that. It's not necessarily affixed to county property, like a building would be. But if the county, if the speed matters up, and the county could write up something and just give it to the Lions Club, and then we give it to him, get this thing out of there, and that would speed up the process if that's an option to go through.
Well, you would have to, I would post it tomorrow if that's what you would like to do. It has to post for 5 days, and it will be brought back on your July 10th meeting for a resolution stating that you were giving it to the...
Take a couple weeks.
Yeah, regardless whether you give it to them or if we work out something with this gentleman and he's nonprofit or something, you're still looking at July 10th. Because it has to be posted for 5 days per the general statute.
Simple way is to give it to the Lions Club, then, isn't it?
Yeah, that way, I mean, I can have that answer today.
That's the quickest.
Do that.
It'd be the quickest approach.
Mhm.
Why don't we
Agreed.
do that? Does the board want to do that?
That's fine.
That's the quickest way we can dispose of this.
That I know of.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So we need to move that to action today and vote on it.
I think just a consensus.
Just a consensus for me to post for it to run the 10 days, and then it has to be done at your next regular board meeting,
Okay.
which will be the 10th. And I'll have the resolution. If you want to, you just tell me if you want it on action for that day or if you want it in consent, where you want it on the 10th.
Okay.
It's just it'll be just a resolution approving it, and everybody
Okay.
signs
It
it.
can
like
be
normal.
action or consent, whichever.
Okay, either's fine.
Either one.
It's not every day you give away a caboose.
No.
Okay, good. Well, that's what we'll
I have a whole
do.
lot of other stuff I'd like to give away.
Okay, any further comments on that? That's what we'll do then, Linda, so go do it to us. We're on the action agenda now. The first item is the Health Department bad debt write-off request. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion to approve the write-off.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passed unanimously. And the next one is the Animal Control Advisory Board appointment. William Dawkins was nominated by the Board of Commissioners at the last meeting to serve as the licensed veterinarian position on the Animal Advisory Board. We need to just vote on that, or we have to do it poll or anything?
Well, I haven't received applications, so that's if you want to open it for any for further nominations. But if you don't have any, then you can just poll the board.
Okay,
I haven't received any more.
okay.
Advertised it.
We don't really need to open the nominations then. Board, anybody want to open nominations? Okay, we'll just poll the board then on Mr. Dawkins, so. Dawkins. Okay, great. That takes care of that. We had one other action item today. What was
But
it?
I had two more. The proposed veterinarian contract for fiscal year 23 and 24.
Yep, could I get a motion on the proposed veterinary contract we discussed earlier?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It passes.
And then the planning fee schedule amendment.
And the planning fee that we just discussed a few minutes ago, get a motion on that.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Okay, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, our next thing is to go into closed session. And you'll read the rationale, Amber.
Yes. To consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A3.
All right, motion on closed session.
Motion's in a closed.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we're in closed session. Anybody want to take a picture of this for,
Hang on, we gotta adjourn.
I get it back?
I think I will. Send it down here. We all have it.
The cameras are on. It's on.
Okay. Does anybody have any further business for the board today? If not, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, opposed? Okay, we're adjourned.